Hey, what's going on guys, it's sryy and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, and today we're reviewing The Black Phone 2. It's another new entry for the director Scott Dickerson, and the obvious successor to the original Black Phone. With the three main leads, Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, and Ethan Hawke reprising their roles for the sequel. And you know what, I'm gonna say it now, I did not have the highest hopes for this movie when it was coming out. Because honestly, I thought the first Black Phone was a creative spin on the genre, but it seemed like a one and done. I didn't think The Black Phone should or even could have a sequel. I mean, the grabber literally dies in the first one. So imagine my surprise when I walk in the theater expecting a half-baked shell movie that's sole purpose is to just capitalize off the success of the first, but it ends up not being that, and it's actually good. It's actually pretty good. I would even say better than the first, which might be a surprise to some of you because there is more mixed reviews for this movie than there is for the original, but I'll get into some of the critiques a bit later. But first, let's get into the plot. And PSA real quick, there will be no spoilers for this review. I usually don't stray away from spoilers in my reviews, but I don't think I really have to mention anything like that in this video, so I won't. So back on topic. Bad dreams haunt 15-year-old Gwen as she receives calls from the Black Phone and sees disturbing visions of three boys being stalked at a winter camp. Accompanied by her brother Finn, they head to the camp to solve the mystery, only to confront the grabber, a killer who's grown even more powerful in death. So now that you have an understanding of the plot, let's get into what I liked about the movie. I mean, to start off with, the idea the movie didn't have anything to work with was just plain wrong by me. This movie expands the universe really well, and the mystery aspect of this Snowden winter camp, and yes, it's obvious some of the reveals that happened were not planned from the first, and the executives saw the success of the first one and were like, hey guys, you gotta get back in that writing room. You guys gotta start, cranking out some new movies, cranking out the second one. I don't care what it is, just make it good. But it still works nonetheless. And on the topic of Snowden winter camp, this setting is perfect for the movie because it does something that I think is really important for movies, but especially horror, and that's the setting is almost a character in its own right. It just feels so cold and dark and isolating, and it especially gives it a lot more oomph once you realize why this setting is so important in the movie. The cinematography is also amazing in this movie. There's a lot of nice aerial and top-down shots, and the Super 8 footage is always so creepy. I genuinely think after watching this movie, the Super 8 camera and the Super 8 footage is some of the best ways to build tension in a horror movie, because it establishes that something bad is going to happen when you see this footage pop up. When you see that clicking sounds and you hear that and you see the flashing and the flickers, something bad is going to happen. You're going to see someone die. Something terrible is going to happen and you're going to be scared. And it just gets you on the edge of your seat right when it clicks on. And it's a really good tool to build tension for the audience. Overall, the camera work was done very well, and I found myself in the theater being like, wow, nice shot. Wow, nice aerial. Nice tracking. Wow, nice. Also, a little side thing I'm kind of proud of myself for figuring out. I was wondering why this movie looks so similar to the Sinister movies, and then I realized that the same director of this first Sinister also made the Black Phone 1 and 2, so cool little trivia to know. Now before I get into the characters and some of the arcs, because I have a lot to say about that, I want to talk about how they bring back the grabber and just the grabber in general as a character, because he kind of needs his own little section. I think this is really important because how they handled this character was really going to determine how this movie was going to be. And while this movie is good, so they obviously didn't do terrible with him. So what do I like? Well, I really like that they don't do the most basic horror villain shtick and be like, well, he actually survived and the cops couldn't find the body, so where could he be? Instead, they use the supernatural concepts they had in the first movie to bring him back, and I really like that. It makes it convincing that he's back, and it actually makes some sense in this universe. Now, what about the character of the grabber? And all I can say is how much I love how disgustingly evil he is. There's no sad backstory or rhyme behind his reason. He's just an irredeemable piece of shit. And that works and makes him a lot more scary. And I think the movie helps run this home by not hiding the deaths of the children. It shows it on full display on that flickery, grainy Super 8 camera. It's just always so visceral. A memorable line that I think really sums up the grabber as a character in this movie is when Finn asks, "Why are you after me?" And his response is, "I have a need." No, more like an insatiable hunger to hurt you in ways that you cannot imagine. Like, bro, chill. But on the topic of Finn, let's talk about him and his sister Gwen. In this movie, Gwen is more of the centerpiece than Finn was in the first, but that works for this movie. Gwen has a nice little arc where she has to learn how to master and control her abilities of dreaming and talking to spirits to defeat the spirit of the grabber. And Madeline McGraw does a great job of showing the struggle Emily has, and also the strength she has facing this challenge. The actress had a great performance, and that goes for the whole cast as well. Her brother Finn, on the other hand, is very relatable and feels very real, and Mason Thames did a great job playing the character. I like how they show the quiet but raging trauma he has from his experience in the first movie, and how that trauma causes him to drown it out with substance abuse and apathy, which leads to him being closed off and angry, and he must learn how to actually deal with this trauma and move on. And it leads to some very powerful conversations. It's very nice character work that I didn't expect, and I really liked what the movie did with both characters. Also, a little side thing here, I really like how the comedy is sprinkled out throughout the movie. It's done very nicely and it adds some needed levity to the movie. It's not too distracting, but at the same time, I also had some times where I was like laughing. I was laughing in the theater from some of the jokes they were making, some of the brother-sister dynamics. It was pretty funny. Oh, and I almost forgot, what's my rating for this movie? I'll give it about like a 7.8 out of 10, maybe an 8, maybe an 8. You know what, I'll give it an 8. 8 out of 10. It's a solid movie. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Peace, peace. Have a good one. See ya.